Just so everyone knows, we're delaying the ceremony for a few minutes, waiting for Senator Moore. He was supposed to be here, and it's 3 after, so we'll wait 5 minutes, and then if not, we'll proceed. Oh, look who just walked. Thank you. Bree Doherty and Steve Mattelli. For both Mr. Iadarola and Mr. Bishop. This time it's our pleasure to make it a formal. To make. Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we appoint Kyle Bishop and Jeffrey Iadarola to the Upton Police Department as full-time patrolmen until a term expiring in May 2018.
We have a second. That's a majority unanimous action of the board. I would now at this time turn the ceremonies over to
regulations
of the Police Department,
of the Police Department,
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
and under rules, regulations, and bylaws
and under rules, regulation, and bylaws
of the Town of Upton,
of the Town of Upton,
made under the authority thereof,
may, under the authority thereof,
so help me God.
so help me God. Thank you.
Mike, congratulations and thank you for all you do.
Senator Moore?
Thank you. I just want to congratulate you for you've done for the Upton Police Department and for the community. And as Representative Meridian said, you're a great representative of the police department. And I think people forget that every day when you leave the house, you and your family realize that you place your life on the line. do in your community service. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Moore, Representative Meridian. I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank specifically Town Manager Bob Reed and the Board of Selectmen for their support for these appointments and for the overall support for the operation of the Police Department. Thank you. At this point, I'll turn it back over to the Board.
Sorry about that.
Party's not over yet.
In recognition of the 2 new officers starting their career, and it's tough times today for law enforcement, and there's a lot expected of you, and we have hopefully a good way to start this off for you from the state legislature. We have citations for Jeffrey and for Kyle, and they're from the Massachusetts legislature. Official citation: be it known that the Massachusetts legislature hereby extends its congratulations to Jeffrey and to Kyle in recognition of the pinning ceremony and taking the oath as you are welcomed as a member of the Upton Police Department. And be it known further that the Massachusetts legislature extends its best wishes for your continued success. That this citation be signed by the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House, and it's signed by myself, Senator Moore, Representative Meridian, and the Speaker and the Senate President. So if you want to come up and we'll present you the citations.
Thank you. At this time, the board is going to go into recess, but I did not know this, but I have 2 things to say. Officer Bishop, Semper Paratus, and Officer Iadrola, go Bisons. So you both have a little bit of my past. I did not know that. So the board's going to go into recess. Everybody enjoy the ceremony and spend time to be with each other. It's a day that's, it's great to have happen. When you're in our position, you don't always get to see the good part of things, and tonight is an example of what the people of Upton are so lucky to have. So, and thank you, Chief, for the ceremony and all the acknowledgments and awards given tonight. So thank you very much. We will recess for 10 minutes and we'll convene upstairs. Thank you. Reconvened. Our purpose for reconvening tonight, we had a pinning ceremony for 2 new police officers for the town of Upton, plus we had an award ceremony recognizing Officer Lupacini. So as a result, our meeting up here is delayed, but it was an excellent ceremony. I compliment the chief and the entire force. They are people to be proud of, and they serve our community well. I will go over the agenda briefly. We are going to defer from the set agenda and move it around for the complement of some people that have time schedules, i.e. Representative Meridian. But we will be, we have some year-end budget transfers we will be dealing with. We have appointments to make. We will be discussing an intermunicipal agreement with Blackstone and Bellingham for nursing services. We will be motioning to approve or to consider a Red Rock annual road race. Discuss the eligibility of benefits policy for a citizen. Motion to change the annual town meeting date. Motion to approve financial policies. And motion to approve the Upton Men's Club one-day liquor license for an entertainment license for their outdoor concert. I would assume we'll call it a concert. Thank you. So at this time, I'd invite Representative Meridian, the police, come forward. He was part of the ceremony downstairs and is asked to speak to the board. Representative, nice to see you again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to see you. Steve, I want to start off by saying congrats. I don't think I've been in since you've officially been sitting here in the selectman role, so I want to congratulate you. I know that you're going to lead the town in a wonderful way, and if I can ever be of assistance to you or anyone else on this board, just to let me know, and I will certainly help out any way I possibly can.
Fantastic, thank you.
Appreciate that. Just want to give the board, everyone sitting here and watching at home, a little rundown as to kind of what's been going on. So I guess we'll start with the House budget. So when we started with the House budget, it was $40.3 billion. We ended it adding almost $100 million, so it's $40.4 billion. The Senate in May had their chance at looking at it and started with a budget of $40.8 billion, and they actually dropped it down to $40.4 billion. Now, the benefit is that they get another month, because we do our budget in the House in April, Senate does theirs in May. They get another month to see the revenues and the returns coming in. Unfortunately, given the numbers I just gave to you, the returns weren't that good, and so they've actually tried to take a step back in their budget. As we sit here today, we're still looking at a $400 to $500 million budget deficit, depending on who you listen to, it's somewhere in those range. Difficult decisions will certainly have to be made. I know that we were able to secure $27,000 for Upton in one of the budgets, and that in turn goes to conference committee, because if there's a dollar figure in one budget but not the other, then it goes to a conference committee where you try to hash out any differences. Both myself and Senator Moore are certainly going to try to advocate to keep that $27,000 in for Upton. However, I do want to let you know that I would be very cautious in moving forward with spending that money until we actually do receive it. Again, there are very difficult decisions that will have to be made one way or another, but rest assured, I don't believe there's any type of appetite to look at removing local aid or anything like that. There won't be a clawback, if you will. A couple of things that we've actually been doing. Recently, we did an act establishing the Massachusetts Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. I'm actually very proud of that because it was a unanimous vote of support for it. It would prohibit employers from denying reasonable accommodations during an employee's pregnancy or retaliating against an employee for requesting such an accommodation. Bars employers from discriminating against pregnant workers when hiring or promoting, and prohibits employers from requiring an employee to take a leave of absence because of their pregnancy. Something to continue to make sure that we move forward in a positive direction for the Commonwealth, something I was very happy to support. We've also looked at the 2018, this past week we did a constitutional convention where we'd vote on some things that would potentially be on the 2018 ballot. One of those was the proposal for a graduated state income tax on individuals who make more than $1 million per year. It required the support of at least 50 legislators in 2 successive legislative sessions. During last year's constitutional convention, it received 135 possible votes, and this year it was 134. So that's looking to be on the ballot unless business-aligned groups do file a legal challenge to the Supreme Judicial Court. So there's still that possibility, but it does look like that's heading towards the ballot. Another big thing that's coming up that I do believe the House will be voting on tomorrow and the Senate will be voting on Thursday is an act to ensure the public health and safety of patient and consumer access to medical and adult use of marijuana in the Commonwealth. So this goes back to question 4 from the ballot of this past November. The legislature set a self-imposed deadline of June 30th to get any type of recommendations and a possible bill out of committee. That being said, the voting will likely be this week, as both bills figure to be, in some cases, very similar, some cases quite a bit different. So then there would be a conference committee for that as well. My guess is the conference committee will actually be established Friday. And what they'll do is they'll take members both from the House and from the Senate, both Democrat and Republican, and they'll try to hash out the differences of that bill. The House and Senate are far apart on some major issues, including the taxation piece of that bill and local control over retail dispensaries. So there's the potential in the House bill to no longer require a town or citywide vote to ban the sale of recreational marijuana within a community, but instead would allow the local municipal governing authority to do that. So that obviously would fall to the 3 of you. Now that's again in the House version. I don't believe it's in the Senate. Remains to be seen if that does stay, but that is one of the major differences. Another major difference is the Senate version of the bill stays at the 12% tax rate that was passed in November. The House tax rate's actually 28%. That 28% is made up of a 6.25 sales tax, a 16.75% excise tax, and a 5% local kickback to any municipality that would actually sell the marijuana. So there could be the return on some revenue there. So this bill actually was originally released on the House side last week, but there was some errors in it, and we actually compounded the taxes going into it. So that actually meant that in some cases, the tax on people could be 55 to 80% if the language read correctly. So that was one of the things that we pulled the bill back on, and that's why it's getting reported out this week and voted on now this week with the major differences in it. One good thing that I do want to report about this bill is that there will at least be $10 million in the pot of marijuana sales proceeds used for substance abuse and treatment programs. That's what's already going to be in there. So I do know that there are people on both sides of the aisle on this vote. I know that it's a very difficult vote. I still have to read through more of the language into the bill a bit further to see how I'm going to stand on it, but I was not in support of the ballot question in 2014. I actually do think that when the ballot question went through, while it was good to give individuals the opportunity, should this become legalized to grow at home, I think it actually opens up the opportunity for a new black market that's not out there right now. I don't know if making this legal would deter any type of black market that's out there currently right now. On a positive note, because we're going to bring you through the highs and lows, I was able to welcome the Grafton Valley Tech boys hockey team to the State House recently, where we were able to celebrate and brag about their Division IIIA state championship. So I'm proud to say that that team was comprised of members through all out of every town from the Blackstone Valley, and that especially includes Grafton, Northridge, and Upton. So it was a great day to have them up there. Also, the last thing, and I know I'm throwing quite a bit at you all here today, for many, many years, and some who have been on the board for a little bit longer might remember, there's been conversations with Quinsigamond Community College or other higher ed institutions about possibly bringing something into the Blackstone Valley. I think it's actually been going on for 20 to 30 years. Well, just yesterday, there were two big happenings in Northridge, one at the alternative site where Quinsig actually opened, and they had the ribbon cutting for a cyber cafe that would help out online students to go there. The other was an MOU, or Memorandum of Understanding, that Quinsigamond signed with the Blackstone Valley Chamber of Commerce. So down where they're located in Linwood Mill, there's going to be about $150,000 worth of product, computers, desks, things like that, to go in to try to build up a manufacturing program there. So it's great to have them partner with us. We're still looking, as I work with the Blackstone Valley Chamber of Commerce, we're still looking to partner with the Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology, who's shown interest in being out here, and Worcester State as well. So with that being said, I'm happy to answer any questions. I wanted to give you a quick heads up as to what's been going on. And as always, if you have questions past here, you feel free to reach out too.
Okay. You have any questions?
Not for the representative.
No? Do you? I do. I only have one, just to clarify, on the bill that's before for the marijuana, for the control at the local level, where is that in timeline?
So I believe the House will be voting on the bill tomorrow.
Okay.
I believe the Senate will take up action on it Thursday.
Mhm.
And then, again, we're working on a self-imposed deadline of June 30th.
Right.
So the conference committee, my best guess would be established Friday, probably work throughout the weekend and into next week to try to get something comprehensive back to all of us.
So you feel it's going to be brought up or down before the close of the fiscal year?
I think so, because basically what happens is the Cannabis Control Commission that's established, a lot of people feel that they need about a year to actually set up all their regulatory structure in place before they start looking at giving out state contracts and dispensaries and things like that. So that's why there was a self-imposed deadline, because the original language from November said July 1st, 2018.
Got it.
So that's where we have that. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts still going with that bill.
Good. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for being present for the ceremony. Nice to see you. You're always welcome.
It's a pleasure. No, to know that Jeff and Kyle are going to be protecting us, it's pretty awesome. Congratulations to the town, too.
Thanks. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, as I mentioned, we're going to work around the agenda somewhat. I will turn this over now to the town manager relative to an officer, and the chief and town manager have discussed this. The board is advised, but I'll let you do the introduction to the appointment, please.
Well, as was mentioned downstairs, Chief and I and a member of the personnel board, and then later on with a panel of officers and chiefs have gone through a recruitment process. Two of the officers that were selected in the recruitment process were just sworn in last night. A third was also selected to be the officer that would be added as of the first of the year. I think you have some information on him. Still has to go through the academy. So I would ask, the purpose tonight is to consider my conditional appointment of John Bergstrom. And so just ask the chief if he wanted to expound on that a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah, we went through the process as we talked about downstairs, and the town manager mentioned. John Bergstrom is currently a full-time dispatcher at the town of Upton. He's been employed for some time, approximately a year full-time, part-time before that. He is a graduate of Netmark High School. He holds a bachelor's degree in public administration from the University of Maine. He's really been a fantastic employee for us, and he has a great career ahead of him in law enforcement. So you certainly can see his talent, and he'd be an excellent addition to the Upton Police Department. So what we're asking for now is a conditional offer so we can start the process of medical, psychological, physical ability testing to get him into the academy, which we forecast will be sometime September or October is the next academy date. So looking for a conditional offer. He will stay in dispatch until such time the academy starts.
Okay, similar to the two officers appointed tonight, we're under a conditional basis until time for appointment. So are there any questions from the board? Gary?
No, sir.
We prepared to make a motion for
Yep.
conditional offer? Please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we make a conditional offer to John Bergstrom to the Upton PD for a full-time officer.
I think you'd just be waiving the 15 days.
Oh, and waive the 15 days, sir.
And waive 15.
Second the motion.
Unanimous action. Is this Mr. Bergstrom staring at me?
Bergstrom is here
Come up and
today.
say hi. Congratulations.
So I forget that, Bob.
Okay.
Should roll it in. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Chief Bradley remembers we had an officer that served dispatch and served dispatch and served dispatch. And when it became time to be an officer and developed an illness which required him to take a leave of absence, and Dustin is who I'm thinking of.
Yes.
And he's moved on to be a very successful police
Actually,
officer.
I started my career with the Upton Police Department as a dispatcher, where I was there for a year before being patrol officer, then sergeant, then chief. So it's a great way to start out and to learn the profession.
It's great.
Thank you.
So congratulations, good luck, and we look forward to seeing you on the force. Okay, thanks, Chief. Chief, if you could just stick around, next one we'll take under consideration. And I do want to mention, just for clarity, and I might have omitted it, the board will be going to executive session at the conclusion of this meeting, Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21, Exception 2, to discuss contract negotiations with non-union personnel. We will adjourn from executive session only for purposes of adjournment of our regular meeting. So at this time, we have a proposal before us for a one-day liquor license for the Upton Men's Club. Brad, if you want to come up. Brad Video, president of the men's. No,
Just
you're
the
not
event-
there.
just the event chairman.
I'm sorry, I just slighted somebody, and I know who. Forgive me.
I was president, that was years ago.
But we have received the proposal. We do have the chief here. We've inquired as a board. Our primary concern is public safety. And I believe, Chief, I'll turn this over to you, but I believe there's satisfaction on both yours and the fire chief's part that there will be the adequate measures taken, so.
Yeah, I've worked closely with Brad as they plan this event. As you know, Brad has managed the fireworks for many years, so we have a very good working relationship. I reviewed the site, the proposed site of the event. We talked about all alternatives for parking, as well as a one-day liquor license, the number of detail officers that would be required, where they would be stationed, and also to, as they plan this event, seeing how this is the first time they're doing this, is to look at ticket sales, and they've agreed to add additional officers as needed, if I request so, as we move forward. So we're comfortable moving forward on this event. I think it would be a great event for the town. As we all know, the Men's Club does terrific work for the town. This would be a nice way for them to raise funds that go directly back to the town. So I look forward to working directly with Brad. I think it will be successful.
Okay, at this time, I ask the board members, do you have any questions?
Nope, sounds like the chiefs are satisfied, so.
Steve?
No
No.
motion.
Okay, my questions have been answered as well. I feel satisfied. You provide considerable information, which is beneficial to us in making this decision. So at this time, I'd ask the board for a motion to award a one-day liquor license and one-day entertainment license.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we authorize the Upton Men's Club a one-day liquor license and entertainment license on September 16, 2017 for Country Fest.
Second the motion?
It's unanimous action of the board, and good luck. We wish you the best. It won't be Woodstock, but we wish you the best, right? Okay, thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Yes, that was in his motion.
I'm sorry. I missed it.
To be a good farmer.
Thank you, Chief.
Any other issues?
Only, just one thing, while the chief is here, we are following up, and I've got information from the chief on a longstanding issue has been the bylaw about unregistered vehicles.
Yes,
The
okay.
chief has looked into some procedures from other towns, and I'll be coming forward to the board with a recommendation on how to structure something. I think in some towns, it's, the ZBA is also included. And then also beginning some semi-annual inspections of Class 2 businesses, whether they're staying within their license or not. And I'll be coming, asking the board for taking further action on that. I think we may have some violators.
Okay, you're both in communication. Good. We all know what it is. Okay,
Great.
thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Jim.
Now, back to our original agenda. We have here, first I'll ask the town manager. You have a number of issues to go over. And I'll defer to you for this, please. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I think a couple of things I have are on your agenda.
Okay.
One is I wanted to mention that we've been following up on getting information for the acoustic study,
Right.
both for the main room, and then also it was suggested that we add a little town hall. And I've been in touch with a firm that came, I got the information on them from the town clerk. They've been very highly recommended. They work closely with the architect when this building was worked on. And I've gotten a quote of $3,800 to do the study. Looks like it'll be very comprehensive. I have information on the scope, but it looks like it'll be a very comprehensive study with recommendations, also suggested costs to do the study. And I've spoken with Mr. Fowler, and it looks like the cable TV would be willing to fund the study. So with that, I'd ask the board to, unless I just had their information on it, my tongue. Would like to proceed with Kavanaugh Tochi, acoustic consultants, and move forward with that study for the town hall, little town hall, and also the main meeting room.
I really asked, do you need a motion from the board?
Well, I was thinking about that. I guess not. I guess I'm authorized to sign contracts up to a certain amount, but certainly wanted to make the board aware of that, and also the public, which probably have some more concerns after the ceremony that we had today in the large room.
The funding is in place. It certainly is apropos, based upon the intent. If I'm not mistaken, that funding comes direct from our service provider anyway, that funding, so it's going to the proper use. So thank you, Mr. Fowler, for cooperating with us on this. And so, Bob, you're going to get this thing rolling ASAP?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Do you want me to go through the regular agenda and then?
No, I
jump
have,
in on this?
I'm all
Okay.
set, I'm just getting my, I think you have budget transfers on the regular agenda.
Yes, I do.
One
Yeah.
item I have is an item that's been worked on for quite a while, particularly by the town clerk, and this was what's known as a community compact grant that Blake Robinson, town manager, had received to do a study of the town's electronic permitting. And the end result of that is a statement of work that we had from a company called Zed IT Solutions. And this will be to transfer the software that the town uses from GOTMS, which is being used now, which I understand has had some problems and some use and service problems, to another company, Acela. This company will help with that transition. The cost of the study is fully paid between money that was secured both from the Community Compact Grant and also from CMRPC, Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. So the total exceeds the $20,000. It's about $26,000, I believe. And so I would ask the board's approval to enter into this contract with Zed Solutions. Pending, we did talk about the contract today, and we're looking for some additional language. I would wait on this, except that the money needs to be expended, at least the CMRPC money needs to be expended by the end of the fiscal year. There was one provision that I wanted changed in here as far as the termination of the agreement. There really wasn't language in here in case the town is dissatisfied. Kelly McElraith has spoken to Zed Solutions, and we're waiting to get that language. So pending satisfactory termination language, I would like the board's approval to enter into this contract with Zed IT Solutions.
And I recognize you may not be familiar with this. This goes back, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago it started. We were at Mass Municipal Association Convention in Boston when we went in the booth, and that was where we learned of this. And Ms. Robinson, who was town manager at the time, instituted the request for the grant, and it was received, and CMRPC joined in. So basically, it's zero cost to the town, but it'll certainly enhance the service. So.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think I've been hearing about complaints, and it's a good way to enhance the service and to be able to offer electronic permitting and electronic services to the residents.
Gary, you have any questions?
No, I think it's a good step forward. It is a difficult program to utilize.
Yeah, it is. You all set?
Okay, yes.
Okay. I entertain a motion to authorize town manager to execute the contract.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Zed Solutions.
Second the motion?
That's unanimous action. Thanks.
One more item of year-end business. Sandy and I had a meeting today with Cabot Risk Strategies. Actually, the representative, the woman's name is Jill Gallant-Shaw, who used to work for Maya, who I think we both have a lot of experience with. But she has brought us some results and some quotes on our basic life and accidental death and disability policies. And this compares Boston Mutual, who we have now, with two other firms, Sun Life and Unum. I think it was pretty clear what the results were. I think through Unum, we would not only get hold the line or reduce costs, but they would also hold those costs for 3 years as opposed to 2 years. And not to get too deeply into it at a public meeting, but we have had some, at least administratively, we've had some issues with Boston Mutual. We understand the customer service is very good with Sun Life. So since this has to do with health and insurance, I would ask the board's approval to move from Boston Mutual for these policies to Sun Life.
Gary, questions?
Is that life insurance, or is that long-term disability, or
Both.
reference comp?
No, not workers' comp. We have that through Maya.
Okay.
And also the police and fire disability policies, we have those through Cabot. But this is for the basic life insurance that the town offers and the disability policies, the short and long-term disability policies that the town offers.
Basically, they'll be getting the same benefits. whether we treat?
Yeah, if I didn't mention that, sorry, the benefits are the same.
Okay, that's it, sir.
Benefits are the same, but obviously the subscription cost is much less.
Not much less, but less. It'll resolve some of the issues that we've been having over the years, and they'll also hold this price for a longer period of time, so we won't see the price escalation. I don't know if you wanted to add anything, but no.
No, and we'll also consider they offer some other lines that will have a open enrollment so employees can review it in the fall. Right now, we'll see a seamless transition into Sun Life, and then in the fall, people could think about adding or changing any part of their existing.
Is the board satisfied?
And just, this doesn't have to be negotiated with the unions or anything, or is this all? I remember we ran into an assurance issue with the union earlier.
No, this
Okay.
is the short-term disability is paid by the town 100%.
Okay.
The long-term disability is optional.
Okay.
Was the, where we change it from Sun Life to,
From Boston Mutual to Sun Life.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we change insurance providers from Boston Mutual to Sunlight Insurance.
Second motion.
Do you need a
That's
second,
unanimous
please?
action of the board. That's clear enough. Thank you.
I know that you have an appointment later on the agenda for the Design Selection Committee, but we had received, I think, 8 proposals for the 3 Milford Street study, and also there is a meeting of the Design Selection Committee that's scheduled for this Thursday.
Right.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you much. A couple of things. We have year-end budget transfers, which is traditional this time of year. And if I'm not mistaken, I'll ask for correction on this. We have a request from the library for a transfer of $1,199, and they've supported that with documentation. From library wages to library expense, we have a request for the town hall from the printing account to the building expense, and those are the only 2 we have at this time? That's correct?
I
Board
believe
has
the
copies?
library has already gone before the Finance Committee, I understand.
Okay, and the other one will need to.
Ready to, yes.
Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
Steve?
No.
All right, Gary, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we authorize the library to transfer $1,199 from library wages to library expense, and transfer $4,000 from printing to building expense.
Second the motion.
Unanimous action of the board, thank you. We have some appointments to discuss here, if I'm not mistaken. We have an appointment from Eric Rustel, I hope I pronounced that correctly, to the Open Space Land Stewardship. And we have Camille Hamlet, a member of the Library Trustees, to be appointed to the Design Committee for 3 Milford Street. And there is one other, and so the lady knows it's still pending. We are holding it and waiting for a follow-up for the Personnel Board. And the Personnel Board, we're waiting for them to meet to make recommendation to us before the appointment, which is traditional. So I still have it. So we have both candidates. I'll accept first Eric Rustel. Any comments? Or
No, sir.
we have his resume and background. Any questions?
No.
Okay, Gary?
I just want to make sure I get the land stewardship. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we appoint Eric Russo to the Land Stewardship Committee for a term expiring May 2018.
Second the motion.
That's unanimous action of the board. And we have Camille Hamlet to the Design Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we appoint Camille Hamlet to the Holy Angels Design Committee, expiring when the completion is done.
Second the motion.
Slight correction, we'll call it 3 Milford Street. I know
Okay,
it's
3 Milford
it's
Street.
habit, but, and I'll make that unanimous. And Sandy, could I ask you to contact her, let her know they're meeting Thursday? She probably already
She
knows.
knows.
Yeah, okay,
Picked up her package.
just so she's aware, okay. Bob, I'll turn this over to you again. We have a motion to update the intermunicipal agreement for nursing services with both Blackstone and Bellingham.
Yes,
Yeah.
The intermunicipal agreement, by the way, with Northbridge for conservation agent services has been approved by the town of Northbridge, so that's all set. This is a renewal, I should say, of an agreement, an intermunicipal agreement that we have with both the towns of Bellingham and Blackstone. Nothing has changed except the rate. The rate just based on wages, any increases, for example, and workers' comp costs that were the same costs that were built into the Northbridge agreement have caused the rate to slightly change. That's gone up to $53 an hour. But other than that, no terms of the agreement have changed, and my understanding through the Board of Health is that both of those towns are very satisfied with the agreements and are ready to renew if they haven't already approved it, as is, with just the change in the rates.
That's my understanding as well. Any comments, Gary?
No, sir.
Steve?
No, I don't.
No, and as you stated, the Board of Health is very satisfied with this. It's working great, sharing of resources. So I'd accept motion.
Can I do both towns in one motion?
Sure, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we renew the intermunicipal agreement between Bellingham and Blackstone for the health nursing services.
Second the motion.
And that's unanimous action. Thank you. Next, the traditional annual Red Rock Annual Road Race, held at Red Rock Restaurant. Every year they have this race. I'm going to take a guess. I believe it's probably their 6th year. And we have the application before us. It's basically fairly simple. It's a triathlon, so there are 3 different events, and it's well monitored. There's probably 150 people that participate. So it's on August 12th from 9 to 11:30. I actually participated with 2 other board members. I made it over the finish line. I was the winner in my age group and the only one in my age group. So it was great to be there. So are there any questions?
No, sir.
No, I don't have.
Okay, Gary, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we authorize the Red Rock and Grill and Bar, a road race approval for August 12, 2017, from 9 a.m. to 11:30.
Second the motion.
And that's unanimous action, and good luck with that. It's always for charity. We have, again, before the board, a discussion on eligibility of benefits policy for an individual from the town. There is, to be candid, a degree of conflict between what the individual feels are the benefits and the town's policy that was enacted in 2014. I'd open this up for any debate at this time. Gary?
This is a tough one. I feel there's a lot of opinions that can go into this, and what the town has an obligation to do while an employee is an employee, but after they retire, I mean, how long do you have to provide benefits for? You know, so it's, I'm just still waiting for some feedback from some people.
Okay, are you familiar with this and what this involves?
Yes, I'm a little bit familiar with it. I was under the understanding that we were waiting to get some feedback from legal on this.
We do have some feedback on legal. Well, I had discussion with town manager, I'll be very candid, and before this, and I expressed some concern, and I know what the issues are, but Gary, do you have concerns at this point? Do you want to? I have no problem deferring. I don't want to jump into this, and I know, yes.
Well, just as far as legal, I did have some conversations with counsel about this, and in going over the procedure, and counsel worked with the town, I think when the policy was implemented, both the policy itself, how the policy was administered, how the policy was disseminated and made known, all of those were done legally. There is no fault on the part of the town in any of those aspects, and as far as notifying employees or former employees or retirees of changes in the policy. I would just say that I think obviously it was done to control costs, both health insurance costs, and also, and I know this has been a concern of the town, the finance committee, also OPEB costs, which these would impact. So that was really the nature of it. And as the board knows, the only way to deal with this issue would be to change the policy itself. You know, you can't have different policies. You can't make exceptions when it comes to health insurance. What you do for one employee would necessitate a change in the policy or a plan so that that benefit would be available to all employees in that class. So in this case, all retirees.
I'm going to, with all due respect, and certainly respecting what you said, because you and I had conversation, and I respect your opinion, I would like to defer this again to the 11th. I want to make sure that we have real due process before we act on this. And I will be as transparent as I can without revealing anything, but this was a dedicated employee and deserves the time and consideration. So, are you board in agreement?
Yes, sir.
So if you could put that again on July 11th, and I would encourage the board to have dialogue with the town manager individually at your time so that we can see if we can come to some resolution on this. Next, we have the discussion for the annual town meeting date. It has been discussed for years, and I admit to being one of the opponents of it, and now I think I am a proponent to moving the election till after the annual town meeting. And the reason is, and again, I'm being respectful, it's very difficult to ask somebody to come into the Board of Selectmen and serve their first meeting at a town meeting, and that's what happens. Steve, you've been there, I did it, Gary did it. You walk in that meeting, and it's your first meeting, you're sworn in that night, and next thing you know, you're at a town meeting. And it's very, very difficult. So it would enhance the process of the town meeting if there were at least a year of experience for the newest member. And my concern was that the outgoing member might use it as a platform, but I think that's offset, and people are intelligent enough to know that the institutional knowledge is more beneficial than the political side of it. So we have it before us to consider, and we don't need to do this. All we need to do is get a consensus from the board. Are we in agreement to go forward on the next warrant in October to put this on the warrant for changing the election date till the Thursday after well, let's just say at this time, the election date after the town meeting, and leave it a little gray at that, yes.
I mean, and I've had some, I'm sure you all have had conversations with the town clerk, and having the election so close to town meeting is, you know, obviously quite a burden on that office. So I think what we had discussed, and what I'd suggest at this point would be to leave the the town meeting where it is, and move the election afterwards, probably the second Tuesday after town meeting. To move it from a Monday to a Tuesday, because people are more used to voting on Tuesdays, and then having it the second Tuesday after that Thursday, then we'll be able to give the town, and particularly the clerk's office, the registrars, a little breather in between.
Right. I'm in agreement for it. I open it up to discussion. Gary?
Nope, I've been supporting this since I heard about it, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Steve?
think it's a good idea.
Okay. And
It's good planning.
yeah, and I need to be candid. We always go by seniority. It's tradition in the board. You're not being slighted, but we always go to by seniority through the motions and everything else. Tradition, I think, more than anything. So the board is in consensus. We will put this on the warrant, and when the warrant is approved, then we will actually make motion to the language. Correct? Okay, thank you. The financial policies. The board received a very large packet of a new financial policy for the town. I'll let the town manager explain this, and we all went through it and edited it, and now it is, at this point, needs to go forward. So, Bob, please.
Well, I believe this was another grant project Blythe Robinson had secured through the Community Compact, best practices. The consultant has been out over the winter. I know she met with the Finance Committee. I attended a meeting. The board has reviewed it. Board forwarded to me some changes suggested. Those have been implemented. So I would ask approval so that we will forward this into the state, to the Department of Revenue, before the end of the fiscal year. And then in swapping emails with the consultant today, they'll provide the town with 25 copies so that we'll have plenty to, disseminate among the financial offices and other offices, Finance Committee, Selectmen, et cetera.
It was it took me 4 innings of the Red Sox game to go through it all, so it's comprehensive. So, Gary, any comment?
No, sir.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, the board has made our edits, submitted town manager, the final copy is ready. So could we make motion to accept the financial policy?
Are we making a motion to accept it, or to have him move forward with it? How would you like it
Well,
worded?
we accept it as a policy.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we accept the financial policy as written.
Second the motion?
That's unanimous action of the board.
I have one item.
Oh, that's just too bad. Okay. No, go ahead.
I had this on my list and missed it, and I was reminded of it seeing Marcia here. I attended the meeting last Thursday, of the Town Manager Search Committee, and what was discussed then, I think would be appropriate for the board to vote to dissolve that committee now that the search has been completed. I know in speaking to MRI, they spoke in the highest terms of working with the search committee and the job that they did. I attended as many of their meetings as I could. I thought they did a terrific job. So with that, I would put it before the board to dissolve the Town Manager Search Committee.
Comments?
None?
No, I'd just like to say thank you to the board for their work in giving us 3 strong candidates.
Yeah, very well done. And it was, the nice part, it was totally objective. You people worked in your own silo and accomplished what you needed to. MRI was very complimentary, so thank you. At this point, you can accept the motion to dissolve.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we dissolve the Town Manager Search Committee.
Second the motion?
That's unanimous action with thanks. Anything else, Bob? No?
I'm all set, thank you.
I just have a couple of points. I attended a meeting last night, and I keep trying to disseminate this, and I don't think enough citizens are aware of their rights, but people keep asking questions. Public record is the right of all citizens. You have the right to access the public record. And as we've often stated, the open meeting law restricts the Board of Selectmen or anyone else from not being public and open with all transactions and debate. The only time the exception is when we are allowed under executive session to go into contract. Last night, a couple of things were discussed, and as example, people did not know that the town manager's evaluation was done in public, and it is a public document. So just to reiterate, we are trying to make our government transparent. We, in all ways, if citizens want access, it's available to them. On the second note, you probably had 1,500 reminders, but effective, I believe, Thursday, the Fisk Mill Bridge closes, and it will be closed to all traffic for approximately close to 2 months. And there is a lot of traffic that goes over that road. So just to make everyone aware, there is no way to affect a detour that's not going to have impact on neighborhoods. It's just going to happen. It's going to be for 2 months. There's no way around it. And when the bridge is done, everyone will be satisfied because it will be much safer than the existing structure is right now. It's a very narrow, dangerous bridge. And that came through partially from grants and partially from town funding. We are sharing that process with the town of Milford. So, other than that, do my colleagues have anything? Gary?
No, sir.
Steve?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, at this time, the board, is there anything in the audience? At this time, the board will be going executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 30, Section 21, Exception Number 2, to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel. All those in favor?
Gary Doherty, aye.
Stephen Medallion, aye?
Robert Fleming, aye. We are in executive session. Thank you.